Hi everybody, I'm Zach and I like movies, and I'm here to talk about the new Steven Soderbergh movie called Presence. So, if Steven Soderbergh is not one of the most consistent directors still working today, he's definitely, I would say, the most interesting because he is a guy who not only can do just about anything, but he is willing to try just about anything. Really, any kind of movie. He has done indie dramas. He has done historical epics. He has done crime thrillers. He's done and really like jockeying between these like total mainstream appealing crowd pleasers, like in Aaron Brockovich, and of course the Ocean's movies and all the cool kind of like crime stuff like this, like Without a Sight, which are just absolutely killer movies. And he also, between stuff like that, he's also able to do these really smaller projects where he's really experimenting with the form of like just kind of like playing around with like how he can shoot a movie. Like maybe in one he'll like shoot a movie with an entire cast of unprofessionals, or he'll shoot a movie just entirely on an iPhone. And here is one of those experiments, Presence, where it's a haunted house movie told visually from the perspective of a ghost. And that alone, I think, was kind of just a cool enough premise to like justify the trip to the theater. Because yeah, sometimes you just need like a cool twist on a well-worn genre to like really get things excited. But I think that does run the risk of like sort of like falling into some, sort of like falling out of some like in some familiar tropes and plot beats and stuff. But Soderbergh here and his screenwriter David Keopp, they really crafted something that's not just interesting and unique, but honestly really emotionally affecting. Like, I thought this was a really, really good movie. I was quite impressed. I honestly really left quite impressed. So it's just, again, we're sort of stuck in this this family moves in a house. It's mother, father, sister, brother, and we're just sort of omnisciently observing them through this floating camera, and we're only ever in this house, and it's a very nice house. You have this kind of like upper suburban neighborhood, and we're just sort of flown in the house. We really get a feel for the layout of the place, and like as these shots go on, they're all told through like these like long unbroken takes, so like they and really taking advantage of the wide screen format too, because you really you see like where everyone is in relation to each other and stuff. And I'm so impressed the way that it just like sort of moves up the stairs across the and through the halls across these floors. Like, you really, and it's the kind of big house that like you hear everybody like when you can't miss somebody walking up the stairs. It's that kind of house. And and it's so and the way that like the actors are performed, and yeah, they get a really nice set of actors. I think the main actor you recognize is the mom, played by Lucy Liu. But really, I think all major performers here I thought were really, really good. They have a lot of naturalism to them. They feel very like lived in characters, and there's a lot you can pick up on with like how they carry themselves and how they interact with each other, and you see, and the more that you see, the more you observe out of these people, and even through like how their rooms are decorated, how they talk to each other, you can really tell a lot. You can really get really, if you're really paying attention, you can really gather a lot of like what kind of people they are, and the kind of fissures that exist in their family between each other. Because like, yeah, Lucy Liu clearly favors the brother. He's like the jock. He's like a swimmer. He's definitely has the sights set. And the sister Chloe, she's still still grieving from having lost two friends, and she then starts to feel the presence, like feels like she's being watched, that there might be something in the house. And the dad is really the only one who like kind of wants to like hear her out on this stuff. And the dad, I really like the dad in this. He's a guy who like really carries a lot on his shoulders, and he doesn't always have the best answers, but he really tries to. And and for a long time, it's hard to tell exactly what the presence itself is like, interested in. If it's just like, if it wants to like help people, if it like wants to help the family in some way, or like, ward them off of some kind of danger, or if it's just sort of stuck here existing, because that's kind of a scary idea, you're sort of like removed from any consciousness, but you are aware that you are in a place, and you're just sort of not able to leave it. You're sort of just, again, you're omnisciently just an observer. It kind of like unlocked that existential horror that I felt like, at the end of Being John Malkovich. If you've seen that, you would know. And again, like a lot of the horror comes from the tension, from sort of this, not just this tension between the family, but also this tension between like this entity and the family. And there's like really well done like suspense sequences. This is a lot where the suspense is of just like, again, and because of the way that it's shot in these like long unbroken takes, it turns us, the audience, into voyeurs. Like just through form alone, and like, yeah, we feel like just sort of stuck observing and stuck watching and leering, or even when it doesn't want to leer. Like it'll, like when they're like, when somebody's doing something, they'll just kind of like, the camera will just kind of like, turn away, give them privacy or something like that. And it's and it's really fascinating. And then like, oh, like, wow, I wound up really being emotionally involved with this family, and even winding up caring for like how things progress in this story, with how, honestly, not just how natural things felt, but also how again, how much I cared about these characters. It's a real, it's not, I really feel like this is a movie that might be really underserved by its like marketing, because like, Neon kind of does this thing where they'll, anytime it gets some kind of horror adjacent thing, it has to like put up stuff like, oh, it's the scariest movie you've ever seen. No. You're just setting it. If you go in thinking this is like a kind of like cheap January horror movie, for like cheap thrills, you're setting yourself up to fail, because this is not like a Paranormal Activity knockoff. This is a really patient and tense family drama that, like a lot of really good horror movie, haunted house movies, and a lot of good ghost stories, winds up being not just spooky but also sad. Man, I don't want to say how this movie ends, but like that ending really, I really felt that ending, like, man. And I gotta say, I wound up being very impressed. Had my heart in my throat, and yeah, a lot of interesting genre bending stuff going on. A lot of, again, great performances. I like this house. I kind of just want to like live in this house. It's really nice. And yeah, there are some beats that it can't like that it does miss. Like, oh, they're like, okay, the house is haunted now. Who do we call? Oh, well, the realtor, just happens to know somebody who is kind of like a spirit medium, but they also like have a twist on it, where she's just kind of like on the side, like not even like a side house. She's just like, okay, I'll do a favor for you. And then her husband's like, yeah, she's doing, like, she comes in on her lunch break and she's like, yeah, she's gonna miss like a day or two of work from this. She's gonna be really shaken. Do you mind if you just just slip like $100 some bucks under the table? And, yeah, yeah, it feels like very, it's not only self-aware of how it's told, but it's also kind of like really like taking advantage of how it's filmed. And again, I kind of wasn't sure what to expect, but you know, like when Soderbergh goes through these like smaller experimental stuff, they don't always pan out, I think. But when they do, it's often some of his most, again, if it's not consistent, it's definitely some of his most interesting stuff. And I think Presence is a really interesting movie. I can see people not liking this if it's a little, again, if they're expecting too much of like, a haunted house kind of thing. Expecting like, again, a Paranormal Activity knockoff. This is much, much better than any of the Paranormal Activities, but that goes without saying. And very impressed with this. Definitely check this out. This is a January horror adjacent movie that does not suck. And again, I feel like it might be understood with that. January, it's like if you don't have like it's kind of trash, disposable movies that they just kind of dump. It's January. It's the dumping ground. You have like stuff that's like stuff from like the fall and winter season of last year that's finally going wide, like The Brutalist. But very impressed with this. Really cool idea. Really engaging and rewarding execution. It's just a cool, and again, it's Soderbergh. Soderbergh made another cool movie. What a surprise! And yeah, I really liked it. I'm feeling kind of feeling a light 8 on this. This is really good. And I think that's it. Comment, like, subscribe. Did you see Presence? What did you think of it? And I think that'll be it. Yeah, again, check this out. This is one of those good January movies. There's at least once one of those every year. And that'll be it for me. I'm Zach. I like movies. I have a lot more movies to watch. And I hope you watch movies too, because movies are life. And I will see you all next time. You take care of yourselves.